Do you ever get the sense that your body never got the message? You're not a kid anymore, and you're not in danger anymore. Like, no matter how stable your life becomes, some part of you is still hyper-vigilant. You might be walking through life with a nervous system that doesn't let you feel truly safe, secure, and at home in your own skin. And it's not a mindset problem. It's the result of early conditioning, trauma, or simply a lifetime of being on alert. This episode is about changing that, not by using stress management techniques or trying to calm yourself down, but by building a new internal baseline that your body can actually recognize and trust. This is Amara Strand. Welcome back to my podcast. Today we're talking about how to experience life from a baseline of profound safety, regardless of your circumstances. You've heard me talk about energy retention and mastery, about the importance of not burning through your energy just to keep up with everyday life. But what's the point of conserving that energy? What does it actually make possible? This is one of those things. When your system is stable enough, resourced enough, you can begin the deeper advanced work of retraining your nervous system to live in a state of deep, profound safety, not as a temporary feeling, but as the new normal your entire system runs on. And today I'll show you what's required to do that, how to work with your own lived experiences to access this state, and how to install a new internal setting that lets your body finally allow you to feel safe, open, and deeply grounded. If you're ready to change what your nervous system believes is true, this episode will show you how. This is advanced work. It's about intentionally creating your reality. Let's start by talking about what a reality frame actually is, because you may not have thought much about it. Right now, you're walking around with reality frames you never chose. A reality frame is the underlying architecture of your perception. It's not your mindset, it's not your beliefs, it's what those things are built on. It's the quiet scaffolding that shapes what enters your awareness, what you expect from the world, how you position yourself inside each moment. It dictates not only what you think is true, but what you think is possible. And most people inherit their reality frames. They absorb them from family, culture, media, trauma, or circumstances. These adopted frames run automatically in your energy field, shaping everything without your awareness. When you adopt a reality frame without intention, you're running a powerful reality filter that was installed without your conscious choice or design. And this keeps you reactive, responding to triggers and circumstances that activate these predetermined patterns. But when you compose a reality frame, when you consciously create and install it, you become the author of your experience on a level you may have never thought possible. Really take a moment to imagine this. You craft the lens through which you experience reality. What does this look like in practice? Well, it can be very practical and mundane and useful in the moment, or it can be something so profound that it changes how you move through your life in a fundamental way. There are two kinds of reality frames that you can create. The first are purpose-built frames, tools designed for specific contexts or goals. You call them up when needed, then let them dissolve once their function is complete. I'll give you a playful example. I recently flew 14 hours in economy. I'm tall, and this was not ideal, so I built a frame, one in which I was flying business class. I didn't pretend, I didn't fantasize. I simply entered the experience through that lens. And despite having my knees jammed into the seat in front of me, I managed to arrive rested, relaxed, and I experienced the flight as surprisingly comfortable. Not because the seat changed, but because I did. The second types of reality frames are the fundamental ones, and these shift your entire experience of life in profound ways. These become part of your basic operating system. They're running in the background like essential software that maintains your core experience. And today, we're going in depth on creating a fundamental reality frame for existential sanctuary. How to experience life through a baseline of feeling deeply secure regardless of your circumstances. I started working on this reality frame when I was quite young. In my early 20s, I realized that my nervous system was hypervigilant. There are a lot of reasons a person might develop hypervigilance, and in my case, there were two reasons. The first is that I grew up with violent and emotionally volatile parents, and to survive, I became hyper-attuned to any shift in tone or mood. But even that didn't keep me safe because they would burst into my room at 2 a.m. screaming, so I never had a chance to truly settle and feel safe, even when I was sleeping. My nervous system was trained to expect that anything could happen at any time without warning. The second reason my nervous system was on high alert was because I was born ultrasensory, which just means I have a wider range of perception, and that puts a higher processing load on my nervous system. I wasn't willing to settle for a life lived on high alert or for the kind of peace that only shows up on a meditation cushion. I wanted to feel safe as a default, to move through the world as someone who is deeply settled and secure. It wasn't just about changing my experience of external circumstances, but also changing who I am, how I experience myself. And so I set to work. I built a reality frame I simply call Sanctuary. And I'm not exaggerating when I say it changed everything. And this reality frame of existential sanctuary is what I'm going to walk you through today. First, we need to talk about what it actually takes to do this work. I'd love to say it's accessible to anyone, but that's just not true. Creating and maintaining a reality frame isn't a mental exercise or a positive thinking technique. It's magic. It's reality creation, and it requires specific capacities and resources. The first prerequisite is adequate energy. I covered this extensively in my episode 17 podcast called Why You Keep Falling Out of Clarity and How to Stay in It. And I'll link that below. But here's the essential point. Advanced energetic work like reality frame creation requires a consistent energy supply. If you have insufficient energy reserves, if you're leaking energy by getting emotionally hooked or being courted, if your energy is scattered or depleted through poor energy hygiene, you won't have the juice to create and maintain something this advanced. You can think of it this way. You just can't run high-performance software on a computer that's low on battery and processing power. Your energy system works much the same way. Once you learn to manage and retain your energy, it gives you the foundation you need to do this kind of advanced work. The second prerequisite is the capacity to hold a stable awareness of your intention. And this isn't about traditional focus or concentration. It's something deeper. It's the ability to remain clearly attuned to what you're creating, even as thoughts, feelings, and sensations come and go. Most people's awareness is reactive and easily hijacked, pulled in whatever direction the moment demands. The third prerequisite is alignment between your heart and mind frequencies. Your heart and mind need to be in agreement about this reality frame you're creating. If your mind thinks that safety is a good idea, but your heart believes The world is just too dangerous to let your guard down. Your energy is working at cross purposes. You need permission from both your heart and your mind, and these frequencies need to match. The fourth prerequisite is a willingness to retrain your nervous system. Your nervous system has been conditioned to respond in specific ways. Creating new reality frames means teaching your nervous system new patterns, and that requires sustained will and consistency. This is why so many efforts to change your reality fall flat. You may have tried thinking your way into a new experience through affirmations, visualizations, or mindset shifts, but without the foundational capacities in place, those efforts stay on the surface. If you lack sufficient energy, stable awareness, heart and mind alignment, and nervous system retraining, the result is often frustration, a flurry of effort directed at the exterior, while the underlying architecture remains unchanged. Let's talk about the biology of safety. Let's get into the specifics of creating the sanctuary reality frame, starting with what safety actually is. Take a moment to consider, what does it mean to feel safe? What would it look like in your day-to-day life? What would it feel like right now to be anchored into a deep, profound state of energetic safety? Safety isn't just an idea or even a feeling. It's biological, it's neurological. Your body is designed to operate in one of two primary modes, sympathetic or parasympathetic. The sympathetic nervous system is your survival mode. When it's activated, your body is preparing to meet a threat or a contest, fight, flight, or freeze. Your heart rate increases, your breathing becomes shallow, stress hormones flood your system, and your awareness narrows to scan for danger or advantage. Of course, this is useful when you're actually facing a threat, but most people are stuck in chronic sympathetic activation. Now, the parasympathetic nervous system is your rest, digest, and restore mode. When it's activated, your heart rate slows, your breathing deepens, your digestion works properly, and your body can actually repair and regenerate. Time slows down. You slow down, and your body opens up like a flower. This is the biological state of safety. It's when your body knows it's safe to relax, to be present, to engage with life from a place of fundamental security and trust. But the kind of safety I'm aiming for isn't just about calming your nervous system, though that's where it starts. What we're reaching for here goes much deeper than parasympathetic activation. We're aiming for states of existential sanctuary, places where you not just feel relaxed, but where the very concept of threat becomes impossible, where you feel held by something larger, protected at the most fundamental level of your being. Think of it this way. Parasympathetic activation gets you out of fight or flight and into rest and digest. But what we're cultivating is more like complete existential refuge. It's the difference between feeling safe enough to take a nap and feeling so protected that even death couldn't disturb your peace. And this is why we need to get creative with our resources. You need to find memories, images, or experiences that capture this quality of ultimate sanctuary. Not just physical relaxation, but profound release. Total return to innocence. Absolute refuge. Let's talk about some base experiences that you can work from in order to get back to that state. If you've had experiences with certain substances, they can provide a powerful template for these states. The memory of how benzodiazepines like Valium or Xanax dissolve that knot of anticipatory anxiety, leaving you untouchable and in complete refuge, or MDMA, also known as Molly or ecstasy, with its heart-opening quality, that sense of unconditional love and protection, Or psychedelics like psilocybin or LSD can offer that feeling of being held by universal benevolence, where your defended self dissolves into infinite protection. I'm not suggesting you take these substances, but if you have had these experiences, you can use these as somatic memories. You can use your body's memory of how sanctuary felt in those moments. How did that release move through your system? What sequence of opening did you experience in your body? Now, if you haven't had chemical experiences to draw from, or if you want additional resources, some powerful states of release can come from surprisingly simple experiences. Imagine a warm, heavy cat sitting on your chest, purring. You can feel that weight, that vibration against your heart. And that purr isn't just contentment. Cat purring has an interesting effect on people. It lowers cortisol while triggering the release of oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine. Or you can recreate feelings of weightlessness. Think of floating in a warm ocean on a perfect day or in a natural hot spring. The sensation of being held and supported without effort, where gravity becomes irrelevant and you can simply release into the water's embrace. Or perhaps you can recall the hypnagogic state, either when you're just barely emerging from sleep or just about to release into it. In those moments, you don't yet feel the weight of your body, you don't feel the weight of your identity or your story. The room and your surroundings have faded and you simply exist in pure being. Now, if you've had profound spiritual experiences, you might recall those and use them. Imagine connecting directly to Source, whatever that means to you. You can feel yourself carried in that infinite intelligence, impossible to truly harm because you're part of something eternal. Or visualize resting in the heart of your future self. Feel yourself held in a field of pure love, the fundamental loving awareness that underlies existence itself. You can let this potent intelligence permeate your body first and then expand into your entire energy field. If you don't really have a strong base experience to work from, I recommend my guided meditation called Meet Your Future Self, and I'll leave a link for it in the description. Connecting with your future self will transform you at a very deep level, and it's not a one-time event. It's an ongoing, dynamic relationship that yields profound healing, protection, and a penetrating magic. Whatever resource you choose, here's how to work with it. You're going to reverse engineer the pathway. Look for the first sensation in the sequence of opening. If you could slow that memory way down, you would notice that the opening happens in a specific sequence, in a cascade. Subtle changes start in your central column, that line of energy running from the base of your spine to the crown of your head. The main energy centers along this central channel begin to unlock. Your belly, your heart, your throat, like energetic locks opening one after another, each release allowing the next to happen. It's like a tightly closed flower bud slowly blooming. It moves you from the inwardly collapsed, compressed state to the outward, open, expansive state. The opening moves from your core outward, from the central channel to secondary energy centers like your joints, your palms, the periphery of your system. One lock opens, which allows the next to open, then the next, cascading through your entire energetic system. Along with this comes the more obvious physical changes, your shoulders dropping, your jaw releasing, your lips softening, your breathing deepening. Once you can access this, you can just breathe directly into your central column as you recall this sequence. Use your hands if it helps, gentle pressure on your heart, your belly, whatever amplifies the sensation of opening. Do this for as long as it takes to allow the process to complete and permeate your entire body. You're reverse engineering the pathway back to that sanctuary experience. I've told you this before, anything you've experienced, good or bad, you can recreate without the initial cause or trigger. Once you've been there, your body stores a map of how you got there. In order to establish your new reality frame, your body needs to be able to immerse itself in the experience of deep safety, release, and sanctuary. It needs to be able to access this pathway on its own without a trigger before your heart and mind will agree to let go of their protective stories. Once your nervous system is in this state, once your body is actually creating and experiencing safety rather than just thinking about it, then we can begin the work of creating and installing the reality frame. Now that your body is in a deep state of safety and release, what I'll just call sanctuary from here forward, we can begin the actual installation of your new reality frame. This is where we bring your heart and mind frequencies into alignment with your intention to create a persistent reality frame of sanctuary. This process involves remaining in the experience of sanctuary, gently and slowly allowing this energy to expand from your body out into your energy field while querying both your mind and your heart for permission. You need unanimous agreement before you can successfully install a reality frame. If there's internal conflict or resistance, the frame won't permeate your entire energy field and it won't hold. When it's installed, you'll feel it. It's kind of like you can feel it click or lock into place in your energy field. So let's start with the mind. You pose questions to your mind about creating this reality frame of sanctuary. Ask your mind, is this okay? Can this be my new default? Do you have objections or concerns? What would it be like to go through a normal day like this? With friends, with family, at work? Ask the mind, do you accept this? Are there any parts of your mental system that believe this state is dangerous, naive, or will somehow compromise your ability to survive and thrive? Listen carefully to what comes up. Your mind might have very logical concerns. It might worry that feeling this deep level of safety will make you complacent or unprepared for real threats, or that you'll lose your edge. And these aren't neurotic objections. They're protective mechanisms, and they need to be heard and addressed. Then you query your heart. Does your heart want this reality frame of sanctuary? Does it feel aligned with this intention? What does your heart need in order to accept that this is your new default? Are there any emotional parts of you that resist safety, perhaps because insecurity has become familiar, or because safety feels foreign or untrustworthy, or because you haven't mastered your energetic boundaries? You work with whatever resistance comes up until you have clear, unambiguous permission and alignment from both heart and mind. And this isn't about convincing or overriding the resistance. It's about discovery and resolution. This may not happen in one session or even 5, but whatever resistance comes up is crucial and valuable information about what you need to resolve. You'll notice that you will not be able to expand this sanctuary frequency entirely out into your energy field and get it to lock or anchor into place until your heart and mind have joined together in assent and given their permission. Now, installing a reality frame is just the beginning. The next step, and where you're most likely to struggle, is in maintaining it. Your nervous system is going to need retraining to accept this new reality frame of sanctuary as your default. And you might find that deeper layers of resistance might surface. Let me know in the comments if this topic interests you and if you'd like me to go deeper in a future episode. I can give you some examples of how to train your nervous system to hold this new reality frame, and we can also explore how to maintain your new reality frame in two very different contexts, when you're alone and when you're engaged with other people. Because here's what I've learned. It's one thing to create a reality frame of sanctuary in the perfect conditions of your meditation space or quiet morning routine. And it's another thing entirely to maintain that frame when you're dealing with difficult people, stressful situations, or environments that trigger your old survival patterns. So if that sounds like something you want me to talk more about, let me know in the comments. As always, you can find more resources at amarastrand.com. For now, experiment with what we've covered today. See if you can recreate that pathway that allows you to physically experience the sanctuary state, and then find out what your heart and mind have to say about it. Probably a lot. Thanks for spending this time with me, and we'll talk again soon.